And with that said, I'm gonna show you guys something right now that I can almost guarantee you've never seen. What's up everybody? We're back in the basement for another video, and this is not just any video, this is a sponsored video. This video is sponsored by Sawyer products, and today I'm gonna be talking about this thing right here, the Sawyer Squeeze water filter. Now, you might be thinking, Kyle, why are you doing a video on this filter? Everybody already knows about this filter. Everybody already uses this filter, so why is it worth my time to watch this video? And let me tell you, this video is not gonna be about how to use this filter. This video is gonna be 5 things that you did not know about the Sawyer Squeeze filter. Now, I've been using this thing forever, long before I ever had a YouTube channel, let alone was lucky enough to be sponsored by Sawyer, long before I even thru-hiked the Appalachian Trail. I mean, I've dug up pictures of myself using this thing all the way back to like 2014, at least, I wanna say. So this is one of my favorite pieces of gear ever, and to be honest with you, if Sawyer hated this video and told me that they never wanted to ever see my face again after this, I would probably still use it. That would really f***ing suck though. Now, rather than bullshit for 2 minutes at the beginning of the video like I usually do and then get ripped up and down in the comment section for it, I'm just gonna jump right into point number 1. The first thing that you do not know or did not know about Sawyer's water filters is that when they are manufactured, they do not do any batch testing. In fact, they do literally the exact opposite, because each Sawyer filter is tested 3 freaking times during the manufacturing process to ensure that it's up to a really high standard of quality. So now we're gonna get into some of the technical details. Let me make sure I don't mess this up. The reason they do this testing 3 times is to ensure that every single filter is at least 0.02 or 0.1 absolute microns. And in case you didn't know what absolute microns means, which I certainly didn't before I started working with Sawyer, basically just the size of the pores inside of the filter. The things that literally block all the bacteria, cysts, and protozoa that could be floating around in that water trying to get into your body, which you obviously don't want. And here's the thing about Sawyer's filters that kind of set them apart from a lot of their competitors. There's other ones out there that claim to be 0.1 microns, but they also have other pores that are bigger than that will allow more things to get in. But Sawyer actually has every single pore at 0.1 microns, which is a really good thing. And this is obviously why Sawyer has a better removal rate than other filters that claim to have the exact same pore size. And back to the triple testing thing, Sawyer's filters are tested once during the fiber element construction and 2 times during the actual case construction. So these things are getting tested 3 times. You just can't beat it. No batch testing. And I guarantee you didn't know that about Sawyer's filters, unless you read the fine print when you bought it, I guess. But the second thing that you did not know about the Sawyer Squeeze filter, again, unless you read the fine print, is that these filters remove 100% of microplastics. Now, I'm gonna be honest, I had no idea what a microplastic was before I started researching for this video. And turns out it's pretty much exactly what it sounds like. Microplastics are literally like tiny little shavings and fibers of plastic. And to be exact, microplastics are any plastic fragment that is less than 5 millimeters in length. Now, I don't know anything about millimeters, so I had to convert that to yards. That would be 0.0057 yards, which is obviously a much easier number to understand.
Oh, yeah, dude.
It's pretty obvious, I feel like, why drinking microplastics would be a bad thing. And the truth is, you probably don't need to worry about these when you're out in like a super remote mountain area in Alaska or something, you know, really extreme like that. It's really when you're on trails that are close to urban environments like 95% of the Appalachian Trail, to be honest, that you have to worry about microplastics potentially contaminating your water, or you could just not worry about it at all and use this filter because, you know, that's kind of the whole point of this video. So the third thing that you didn't know about the Sawyer Squeeze filter is just how strong the freaking fibers in this thing are. Dude, I'm telling you, these things are stronger than any fiber you've ever seen in your life. Even stronger than the Fiber One bar you ate a few days ago and then almost immediately regretted. Some strong fiber. Now, rather than just repeating that over and over for the entire point, I will say some actual data and numbers to back this up. Sawyer's filters were tested against other brands in an independent study, by the way, and they were found to be 75% stronger. Like, that's no joke, 75% stronger. This study was done by Calvin College, and I'll actually throw a link to the study in the description in case you're a huge nerd and you actually want to read that shit. I'm joking, you should actually go read it because it's really impressive, honestly. And the reason that Sawyer's fibers are so much stronger is because They have smaller inner diameters and thicker fiber walls. And I should also say why having stronger fibers is important in the first place. And the reason you want strong fibers is because that allows you to aggressively backwash these filters to keep them freaking clean. Yeah! You don't have to worry about damaging the inside, and that's by design, obviously, because these fibers are so freaking strong. Now that the ground and my filter are soaking wet, let's move on to my third thing that you did not know about Sawyer's filters, which is how freaking long these things will last you and will be able to treat your water. How long do you think this thing will last, huh? 1 year, 3 years, 10 years? Wrong. This thing will literally last a lifetime. I'm not kidding. That's how freaking much water this thing can filter. It's absolutely insane. To put this in perspective, you could have given Jimmy Carter a Sawyer filter on October 1st, 1924, when that dude was born, and he could still be using that filter to keep him going somehow today. The thing is though, if you're gonna have your filter last that long, you obviously have to maintain it, right? You can't just freaking use it, never clean it or backwash or anything like that. I'm not gonna lie, I was really bad about this on my thru hike. I was super lazy, and so as a result, I just ended up buying new filters instead of backwashing them, which to be fair kind of works because these things are just so cheap. Like, it's only like 20 bucks for this thing. But if I wasn't such a lazy piece of shit, I would have done what pretty much everybody else did, which was actually backwash their filter, because it's really easy, as you just saw. Yeah! Do as I say, not as I do. I mean, let's be real about this. You're more likely to just end up losing your filter before it actually like can't filter your water anymore. So don't be lazy, don't lose your filter either, and buy one of these, take good care of it, and it will last you a long time, trust me. Be sure to go to Sawyer.com to pick one of these up and to look at some of their awesome products, or just go to your local Walmart or your local outfitter. They're pretty much everywhere that I've seen. But don't do it yet, because this video is not over. We have to get to point number 5, and this one is a little bit different because this one isn't directly about the water filter. This one's more just about Sawyer in general. There we go, that's focused. The 5th thing that you did not know about Sawyer, and this is freaking awesome. It's actually like insane how much they don't talk about this. I think that's why they're having me do this video partially, but that is Sawyer's international charity work. So when people think of Sawyer, I feel like they think of their amazing water filters, their amazing hiking products, but what they don't realize is that, in my opinion, Sawyer is like half a company and half a charity, because the amount of charity work that they do is actually insane. Like, for instance, Sawyer and their partners were able to give, ready for this? 5 million people access to clean water last year. 5 million people. This isn't just some corporation giving away money to charity and then calling themselves like charity. Like, no, like they actually do so much. 5 million freaking people. And one country I'm gonna talk about in particular is the African nation of Liberia. With Sawyer's help, by the end of this year, December 2020, Liberia is going to have clean water in every single household, border to border. That is crazy. And it also means that at least one good thing is gonna happen by the end of 2020. There's actually been a little bit of research done on some of the more detailed effects of their work over there as well. It was found that in Liberia, Sawyer water filters were able to reduce diarrhea by over 90%. Again, I keep emphasizing these numbers, but that's freaking crazy, because when you're hiking, or just when you live in a place like I do here in the United States, for instance, getting diarrhea, which is really weird to talk about, but getting diarrhea sucks, but like it's not that big of a deal most of the time. But when you're in a developing country like Liberia, you can actually have some pretty serious complications from diarrhea. I'm gonna cite a study on this issue here, so I wanna make sure I get it right. So before the water filters were brought in, almost 24,000 households were analyzed, and 34% of them reported cases of diarrhea. After the filters were brought in, they had people report again, and that number, that percentage of households with diarrhea, went down to 2.95%. We went from 90% to just below 3%. Not only do these help people get clean water, obviously, but they also bring down the cost of accessing water as well, because if you think about it, they don't have to spend their money on bottled water or other purified water when they can just use this thing to take the water directly from a local source. And with that said, I'm gonna show you guys something right now that I can almost guarantee you've never seen, unless you work for Sawyer, I guess. That is the Sawyer tap water filter. So it's basically the same exact Sawyer squeeze filter that myself and so many other hikers use on the trail, but adapted so that you can screw it right onto a sink tap or even like a water hose, a hose extension, anything like that. I think it's really awesome that Sawyer's taking the technology they've developed for hikers and adapting it to meet the needs of developing countries. And I think it goes without saying, like, you guys should be able to tell from the footage right here that this is obviously going to be something that's going to be super convenient and effective for these folks. So hopefully you learned something about Sawyer today. If anything else, hopefully you learned about all the amazing charity work they're doing. So with that said, I'm going to go mop up the floor because there's a bunch of water on it now and I want to do that before my roommates get home. And yeah, thanks for watching, guys. Oh yeah, and thanks to Sawyer too. Yeah!